Many hit songs, including Despacito, use the same four chords, dubbed the four chords of pop. From the late 1960s to the present, the four chords of pop have been the mainstay of hit songs. These chords are 1, 5, 6, and 4, after the major scale steps they are built on. If you start the sequence on the 1 chord, the emotional impact is more heroic and optimistic. And if you start the progression on the 6th chord, the impact is more dramatic and serious. The 4-chord progression evolved out of an earlier progression from the 1950s called the doo-wop progression. Stand By Me and Heart and Soul both use this progression, which is 1, 6, 4, and 5. The doo-wop progression came from the earlier 3-chord blues progression, which leaves out the 6th chord entirely and simply uses 1, 4, and 5. These 3 chords form the basis of the 12-bar blues and early rock and roll. The 3 chords which form the basis of the blues progression sound good because they are derived from nature. When you pluck a guitar string, it vibrates in many different ways at once, creating something called the overtone series. The simplest way the string can vibrate is up and down, the full length of the string. This vibration is called the fundamental. If we relate this to a step in a musical scale, we can think of it as number 1. The second simplest way the string can vibrate is in half. This creates the same note as the fundamental, only higher. The third simplest way the string can vibrate is in 3 pieces, and this creates the most important relationship in the history of Western music, the interval of a fifth. Since this interval comes directly from nature, when we hear scale step 5, it creates tension, and we can't help but want to hear scale step 1. This tension is the fuel that drives music's perpetual motion. The 3 chords of the blues and early rock and roll are derived from the 3-to-1 ratio we saw in the vibrating string video. Simply stated, if we build 2 intervals of a fifth in either direction from any starting note, we get the root of the 4 and 5 chords related to that starting note. In this example, we are hearing how this pattern works in the key of C on a piano keyboard, giving us the notes F on 4 and G on 5. So why did pop music have to complicate things and start adding a 4th chord in so many hit songs? The answer is that the major 1, 4, and 5 do not provide enough emotional variety to suggest the full range of human experience. Around the 1800s, 2 musical scales, or modes, became firmly established out of a larger set of 7 church modes. Known as the major and minor modes, composers discovered that these 2 provided the best emotional contrast between happy and sad. Let's hear the difference between these 2 modes using just the white keys on the piano. First, we will hear major, formerly known as Ionian, then minor, formerly known as Aeolian. Notice the notes don't change, just where we start and stop on the keyboard. The difference between starting the 4-chord progression on the 1 or the 6th chord is in reality the difference between the major and minor modal variations of the progression. To hear this clearly, let's turn to Despacito, which we talked about in my last video on the Tresillo rhythm. Despacito is set in a minor key. We can hear what it would have sounded like if it were in the relative major. First, you will hear the original version.
Despacito, quiero respirar tu cuello despacito. Deja que te diga cosas al oído, para que te acuerdes si no estás conmigo. Despacito, quiero desnudarte a besos despacito. Firmo las paredes de tu laberinto y hacer de tu cuerpo todo un manuscrito.
We can hear what it would have sounded like if it were in the relative major.
Despacito, quiero respirar tu cuello despacito. Deja que te diga cosas al oído, para que te acuerdes si no estás conmigo. Despacito, quiero desnudarte a besos despacito. Firma las paredes de tu laberinto y hacer de tu cuerpo todo un manuscrito.
I think you will agree the happier sounding version has lost all of its sincerity. In this video, we have seen how carefully balanced the 4 chords of pop music are. Taking away just one of these chords, or changing their order in relation to the melody on top of them, creates a major change in the ecosystem of the progression. I hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, my name is Harold Stefan.